I'd like to meet two different 70-year-olds that are going to highlight why it's important to be really strong at the ages of 30, 40, 50, all the way up to 60, and why it's really never too late to start. These two have the same age, same years, but have lived two very different lives. The first one is Mary, obviously 70 years old. And when she wakes up in the morning, she goes for a brisk walk. She she climbs up and down the stairs. She goes and buys her shopping. And she can, when her grandchildren come to play, she can go and sit on the floor with them and play. And then more importantly, she can get herself back up when she's finished to get up and go about her day. So she's very independent. She doesn't rely on anyone. She doesn't need to she doesn't need to depend on any of her family to support her activities of daily living. But not only that, because she's got good muscle mass, she's also very stable. She's got good balance. She has got good glucose disposal. Her bones are strong. There are lots of things that are benefiting her. Now, the reason I say this is because I'm going to show you a little table now on the screen that is going to show you just how much muscle mass we lose between the ages of 30 to 50. So now let's contrast that to our second 70-year-old. And I want you to think of this. Imagine both of your grandmas, and one of them is really functionally fit and the other one is not so fit, right? So the second one is Susan. She's, again, also 70. But when she wakes up, it's very different. She aches. She has to struggle to get out of bed. She can't really, a low chair or anything low, she struggles to get out of because she doesn't have the capacity. She avoids stairs and takes the lifts where possible. And if there isn't a lift, she does struggle. She gets out of breath carrying her shopping. When the grandkids play, she just prefers to sit down and watch them play rather than get involved. Her bones are brittle and a doctor is worried about her. I didn't even realize I had these headphones on, but is worried about her falling and maybe fracturing something. But also because she doesn't have the muscle mass, she maybe doesn't have as good glucose disposal, so she's going towards diabetes. So all these things that contrast between the very two different ways that people are when they are 20, 30, 40 years downstream of not having enough muscle. Because what happens is when we go from about 30 to 50, 30 is usually around our peak muscle mass. Adolescent teenage years is when we have our peak growth because obviously of puberty and all the testosterone that's flying around. But once we hit our peak at 30, from 30 till about 50, we can range in how much muscle mass we lose, which is anything from 0.5% all the way to 1%, which means that over those 20 years, that can be anything from 10 to 20%. Then from 50 to 70, it goes from about 1% to about 1.5. So that means a further anything from about 20% to 30%. And then from 70 to 90, it can be anything from about 1.5% to all the way up to 3%. So you're looking at a really wide range of maybe anything from 30% muscle loss all the way up to 60% muscle loss between 70 and 90. And that story, those two stories, that comparison, and I imagine a lot of people out there have grandmas who are, one is very fit and able, the other one is maybe not so. You can see the disparity that leaves between people's quality of life. But that's why it's so important that we do this now, because it is so much easier to gain muscle mass earlier in life. It doesn't matter where you are, and it doesn't matter how late you are in life. Even in people in their 80s, 70s, if they start lifting weights, they will see a functional difference in everything they do, their energy levels, their ability to dispose of glucose, the strength of their bones, their stability and their ability to be able to do functional things like get out of bed, go carry their shopping, walk up and down stairs. And that cycles back all the way to being in your 30s. The stronger you are, the more able you are, the more energy you have, the less effort things require. So it generally is such an important thing to be able to do, especially early on while you can. Of course, you can do it later, but it's more of a Herculean effort to get that muscle mass up. So out of those two, who do you think is living the more fulfilled, vital life, right? And that's the thing. It doesn't just happen suddenly at 70. It is something that is a gradual, diverging path over time. So even those people where as you get that to that age, the gap is massively pronounced. The gap is happening now at 30. It's just that it's smaller and less noticeable. And what will happen is that it'll continue to expand in 40s, 50s, 60s. There is something that we can do about it to change course and get ourselves back to the muscle mass that we need. But we need to make sure that we're taking care of it now. It's that thing, that old Chinese proverb, when's the best time to plant a tree? 20 years ago. When's the second best time? Right now. And it's something that the sooner we take care of, the sooner we will reap the benefits of, and the quicker it diverts us off course or back on course to where we want to be. So if you want to understand more about how we maintain muscle mass, how we build it, how we eat to make sure that we are preserving it, check out this video here where I talk in a bit more depth about a practical guide for how to go about all of those things. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.